Hey everyone, it's Kim Adams. Happy Monday. We're here for today's Monday Money Talk. And I thought today we would talk about budgeting, budgets. And it's so funny, the reason this topic even came to my mind was that a few weeks ago, my friend Lori and I were meeting with our image consultant, who's Julie Shields here in Pittsburgh. She's awesome. If you have not met her and you live in Pittsburgh and you're a woman, you have to meet Julie Shields. Anyway, she was coming that afternoon to do our personal style consultations, where she helps you decide body type and what to wear. And she said to us, "Do you have a clothing budget?" And Lori and I looked at each other. We said, "Heck no, we don't have a clothing budget." And she's like, "Well, you should." So it got me thinking about budgets in general. And my position on budgeting has always been that I guess I do kind of a middle of the road when it comes to budget, because you have people that are on opposite ends of the spectrum. So you have people that don't budget at all. And then you have the other polar opposite, where you have people that are so detailed and kind of anal about it, you know? That's one extreme. Those are two different polar opposites. And I think I fall in the middle, because my idea of budgeting has been just to really set myself up so that I allocate money, big picture. So when I was working in the corporate world, or for, decades that I was involved in public accounting in the corporate world, I would just make sure that I had money pulled out of my salary, deposited into my either 401k or my investments, after-tax investments. And so that was my idea of budgeting, right? I just made sure I had the big picture taken care of. And so Lori and I said to Julie, well, we kind of did it that way so that we would not have to budget, so that we wouldn't have to be so detailed about it. And it's worked pretty well for us, so that we don't have detailed budgets. But then I know people, and a friend, we used to work with a guy years ago who had the column for everything. So he had a column for the movies, had a column for dates with his wife. I mean, it was so detailed. And we used to always kid him that he had his First Holy Communion money, that he still had his First Holy Communion money, and he may have. He was so into it. So that's the other extreme, but I've never been into that extreme. And if you're like that, there's nothing against it. It's just a different approach. I've just never been that focused or found it that necessary to be that detailed with it. But maybe it's a good thing. This friend of ours that I'm referring to, has been retired on the coast of Florida for many years. So maybe it's a good thing. And I think some of us too, when I think of a budget anyway, and it may apply to you too, you may think of just the corporate budgets or budgets in a nonprofit, where it's really just almost unrealistic at times. Or if you don't spend the budget, you don't get that allocation for the next year. So sometimes budgets have like a negative connotation. Oh, hey, Carol. How you doing? So Carol's got a question. When I met with my first financial advisor, he was stunned that I knew where all my money went within less than 5%. Pretty good. However, I later swung the other way. Not good. Yeah, it's kind of a personal thing. On one hand, it can be a really great thing that you have a detailed budget. And it's okay if you're there with that. The other side of it is, are you financially stressed where you have to have a detailed budget? So there's one idea of being proactive with a detailed budget. The other idea is you're kind of forced into being detailed because you are struggling financially. And my theory has been, I'm just going to take care of the big things, save for retirement, put a lot in savings, of course, allocate for mortgage and whatever other expenses you have, college education. So I pocketed, and my budget was more of have it taken out of my pay or my business income, deposited into those different accounts. And then I could, then I have what's left, and I can spend it accordingly. Does that make sense? There are so many tools out there now to help you. And, it's tax time for a lot of us. And a lot of what's common now to do when you do your tax return, many credit card statements, online banking systems all have ways for you to download information very easily now into a CSV file so that you can put it into Excel or download it into Quicken. So it's a lot easier to see where your money's going and see it in a big picture. So lots of great tools out there. I'd be curious to see, are you budgeting? Do you do the detailed thing, or do you kind of do the kind of a broad approach, I guess is what I would call mine, where I would set aside, put money away, and then just live on the rest. But that worked for me because it helped me build a lot of retirement money, paid for kids' college education. It worked for me. So everybody's different when it comes to that. And it's, I'm the accountant, or I have been for years, and I'm not on the extreme detailed side. That's just not been just not the way I am. So, there are lots of tools. So let me know, what are you up to when it comes to budgeting? Do you budget it? Have you always budgeted? Is it something that you're doing now because you have to? Or are you doing it now because it's just something that you feel is a good activity, be more proactive about your money? So that's okay too. There's lots of great tools, but you don't have to use complicated tools, because sometimes what happens is you think you need a certain tool or a piece of software to do certain things. Bookkeeping comes to mind, and people think they always need QuickBooks, and they really don't. So when it comes to budgeting, you don't need anything complicated. It can be just an Excel sheet or some type of spreadsheet that you use to keep track of expenses. Download, do everything electronically as much as possible, because that way, if you're using your credit card, if you're using a debit card at a bank, you can then download transactions. So the less cash you deal with, the better. You get a better idea of where your money's going, because you can electronically just see it and manipulate it and analyze it better. So let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions, if you're watching this after the fact, please feel free to chime in and type your questions below. It's been great talking to you, and I hope you have an awesome week. And again, I'll talk to you real soon. Take care. This is Kim Adams at Monday's Money Talk. Have an awesome day and week. Bye, everyone.